What's up, everybody? It's your boy Eddie, aka Duriel 1000, aka a solo tripper, baby. Hopefully you're doing great. Today is November the 2nd, 2022. We almost into 2023. So, I want to thank you all for being here. Hopefully you're having a great day. And today, I wanted to talk about some breaking news. I might be a little late, but better late than never, right? So Terence Crawford finally spoke out about the highly anticipated fight between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. Now, Terence Crawford basically pulled back the curtain, opened the curtain or peeked through the curtain, and he's sharing with us what the fuck is going on with the fight. Right? So Terence Bud Crawford, champion welterweight, 147 pounder. And he was looking to become undisputed at 147 pounds. The last man he needed to beat was Errol Spence. And Errol Spence himself stated that he wanted to fight Terence Crawford to become undisputed. They hold all of the belts at the 147 weight. All right. So these two have been going back and forth for, the past couple years, waiting for these two to get all of the belts, collect all the belts. So Terence has 2 belts. Errol Spence, I think, has 2 or 3 belts, 2 belts. And now it's just one fight to make, and that's for the undisputed. It won't make sense legacy sense for them to go fight someone else when all they really need right now is to become undisputed. So the two fighters have been open about them wanting to fight each other, right? Now, until recently, Terence Crawford was locked in with ESPN Top Rank. So he was under a contract. So when that contract was up, Terence Crawford stated that he wanted to get out of his contract with Top Rank and become a free agent to try to make the Errol Spence fight. And in his video, you can watch the video. I'll leave a link. It was done on Fight Hype and a couple other platforms. Actually, Terence Crawford did it on his Instagram. So he basically said that he's been trying in his Instagram live video. He basically said that he's been trying to make the fight with Errol Spence, and Al Heyman, who represents Errol Spence or Errol Spence promoter, because Errol Spence is signed with PBC, right? So Terence Crawford basically did a tell-all on why the fight didn't happen, why it's not happening. And Terence basically said that he reached out to Al Heyman multiple times, and Al Heyman sent him over a proposal, not a contract, but a proposal for the fight. And basically Al Heyman didn't want to give Terence Crawford, any guaranteed. He didn't want to be transparent with the fight earnings and expenses and things like that. So basically, they were trying to fuck Terence Crawford. Now, I respect all parties involved. All right? I respect Terence Crawford, I respect Errol Spence, and I respect Al Heyman. But in this world, every man has his own desires, his own goals, his own agenda. Even if you're, even if you're on the same team, you may not agree with, your teammate. And it's not anything to be taken personal. It's just that, one guy is looking at the situation one way and another guy's looking at it a different way. Now, like I said, everybody's a man, and at the end of the day, everybody has a family to feed. So that's why I say I respect all men. I'm not going to discount or disrespect any man. I'm just giving my perspective, my perception, my opinion about the situation. Because what Terence Crawford has done is he's shined a light on darkness, basically. Because Al Heyman is one of the most popular promoters, yet unknown promoters. What do I mean? Well, Al Heyman, if you look for Al Heyman, everybody, all his fighters talk about Al Heyman after they win the bout. I want to thank Al Heyman and I want to thank God. They thank Al Heyman before they thank God after they win a fight. So he's always mentioned, but he's rarely ever seen. He's not in the forefront. He's in the back. Now, there's nothing wrong with being, shying away from the spotlight. But however, you have to look at other promoters. Look at Bob Arum. Bob Arum's always giving interviews. Look at Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn is always giving interviews. Look at Frank Warren. He's always giving interviews. Look at Don King. I don't know what happened with him. Look at Floyd Mayweather. He's always giving interviews. Al Heyman is not giving interviews, and there's nothing wrong with that. He just doesn't want to be on camera. Doesn't want his whole. I get it, but here's the problem: when you're quiet, when you're not talking, when other people are speculating about you, sometimes the speculations become overwhelming and could possibly be false, be negative, if there's no way or the person is not standing up or pushing back against those speculations or putting their own take on things. Like Eddie Hearn, somebody talked bad about Eddie Hearn go on camera and he addresses it. Right? So Al Heyman rarely speaks. I don't think he's ever done. I may have listened to one interview that he's done. Good water. Empty bottle. So, Terence Crawford shined a light on the problem that is happening in the PBC. He said that Al Heyman basically doesn't really want to fight, or is ultimately going to fuck over Terence Crawford one way or another, right? So Terence Crawford said, fuck that, I'm going to BLK Promotions or app or whatever to fight David Avanesian. Okay? So, being that Al Heyman obviously does not want this fight to happen between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, it brings up more questions than answers. What do I mean? Well, there have been several PBC is a huge promotional company, all right? Several fighters on PBC. And several fighters on PBC want special fights. Now, well, when I say special fights, I'm talking about like Gervonta Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia. Both of them want that fight. Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia want that fight. Oscar De La Hoya, who represents Ryan Garcia, Golden Boy Productions, and Golden Boy Promotions, and then you have Gervonta Tank Davis, who is represented by Al Heyman, right? So Oscar De La Hoya was basically in Terence Crawford's shoes, right? Because he wanted to make the fight between his fighter, Ryan Garcia, and another one of Al's fighters, Gervonta Tank Davis. Okay? And that fight has fallen through multiple times. Alright? Because once they were going to fight a while back, and then supposedly Ryan was going to be fighting Manny Pacquiao. Then that fight fell through. So it seems like there's a trend going where Al Heyman does not want his fighters fighting outside fighters. Now again, let me stick up for Al Heyman. I can't blame Al Heyman for that. You know, if I had a stable of fighters and I was able to convince them to only fight who I wanted them to fight so I can make my money, I can't blame Al Heyman for that. And that's respectable. Like I said, every man has his own agenda, his own intentions, his own goals. So I can't blame Al Heyman for not wanting that fight. Right? So, but remember, there are multiple parties here. You have Al Heyman's point. He wants his fighters to stay within the PBC. Right? He doesn't want Errol Spence to go out and fight another fighter. Okay? Likely, there's probably two reasons why. The first reason is money. He doesn't want Errol Spence jeopardizing Al's money. All right? So if Errol Spence stepped outside of the house of the PBC, Al could be losing money, right? Because he makes money every time Errol Spence fights within the PBC. All right. Now, the second reason is because Al, I believe, doesn't think that Spence can beat Crawford. Right? It has to be. Because if some Joe Smo said I wanted to fight Spence, and he had some belts, and Spence intents were to become undisputed at 147, and then there was this Joe Schmo who had the other belts at 147, I don't think Al would even hesitate on letting Errol Spence go out and become undisputed, bring all the belts back into the PBC house, right? It'll be like a no-brainer. It'll be like, hey, my fighter will be more valuable as undisputed, right? So those are the two reasons I believe that the Al doesn't want that fight to happen. Because of money, he might lose money. Two, he might lose the belts. Errol Spence might lose the belts. All right. So being that being said, we kind of understand why the Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Tank Davis fell through. Because we would have to assume, again, we wouldn't need to assume if Al Heyman was to come out and talk about this himself. Because if he talked about it, other people would be like, yo, Al, either, Al's right or Al's wrong. But Al isn't saying much. Floyd Mayweather isn't saying much. Leonard Ellaby isn't saying much about Terence Crawford fight. Well, Floyd Mayweather did say that the Terence Crawford fight isn't happening. That's basically what Floyd Mayweather said. So, and you have to assume that if Al is treating Terence Crawford like this, you have to assume that Al's also treating Ryan Garcia like this. All right? Now, here is where it gets interesting. All of those PBC fighters, that wanted to fight Canelo. Now we know Al Haymon did sacrifice your boy Caleb Plant. He fed Caleb. Al Haymon fed Caleb Plant to the motherfucking wolf, right? So that could be the reason why. Well, Ryan Garcia fell through before that. I think it fell through before Caleb and Canelo. But either way, Al Haymon did allow Canelo to fight their Caleb Plant, which is signed with the PBC. All right, but the question is, a lot of fighters under PBC might be wondering, well, if Al Haymon doesn't want the Terence, the Bud and Spence fight to happen, maybe he also doesn't want the Canelo and David Benavidez fight to happen, or he doesn't want the Charlo fight to happen, because this has to go through your mind. Because if you are signed with anything, a company, or if you're signed with any business and you're an employee, or if you're a partner, and you see the president or the head of that company turn away business for one of its employees, you would have to think that they would do that to your peers as well. Now, I'm not trying to cause any distrust between Al Haymon and his fighters. Not at all. But, like I said, these questions have to be in people's mind. It has to be. This isn't coming from left field, because, like I said, Terence Crawford just pulled the curtain back and shined a light on some darkness. Because I think one of the reasons why is, like Al Haymon, Terence Crawford was he boxed. He's a great boxer, great fighter, but he didn't really like talking and giving interviews and being in front of the camera and everything like that. And people started to think that Terence Crawford was ducking Errol Spence. But we see now it was never Terence Crawford who was ducking. It was all... And Errol Spence wasn't ducking, but his company was ducking. Right? So, you have that to think about. And, you know, there's a lot of things going on in Showtime. They were bought out by Paramount. And Floyd Mayweather is going over to DAZN to fight Deji, or what's the other name? Doja Cat, or somebody. But he's not doing it on Showtime or the PBC. All right. So there's that. Now, another question that Terence Crawford posed was, who is Errol Spence going to fight next for a big paycheck? Because according to Terence Crawford, Al Haymon said, if you, Terence Crawford, don't take this fight, then, you know, you can go ahead and walk away, and Errol Spence is going to have a big fight coming up with somebody else. But here's the thing, as I mentioned earlier, there's no other big fight at 147 but Crawford. Everybody, they've cleaned out the division. Those are the only two belt holders, Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. You have Sean Porter, both already fought Sean Porter. Mario Barrios, who fought Mario Barrios? Tank fought Mario Barrios, dropped Mario Barrios. Keith Thurman fought Mario Barrios and beat Mario Barrios. There's not really, you have Boots. You have, I mean, that would be a good fight there. Ennis Boots versus Errol Spence. That would be a hell of a fight. So maybe that may be the next fight. Or it could be Errol Spence versus, I would say Virgil Ortiz, but Virgil Ortiz is on, I think Virgil Ortiz is under Golden Belt. Golden Boy. I don't think Virgil Ortiz is under the PBC. I could be wrong. Let me see. No, I'm sure. 99.9% sure Virgil Ortiz with Golden Boy. So, but Errol Spence is not going to fight Golden Boy. Okay, so you have Jerome Ennis Boots, and that's about it. Keith Thurman. I mean, who really wants to watch that fight? I mean, I watch it, but no. Who really wants to watch that? So Errol Spence, maybe he goes up to 154. Maybe he goes up to 154 and fight somebody. I don't know who at 154. Who would he fight? That would be a big money maker. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head right now at 154. I don't think 154 is that stacked. You have, or is it 150 or 154? I think 154. You have Jamal DeCharlo, but they're not going to fight each other. I mean, you really don't have. At least I can't think of anybody. Him versus. Oh, somebody mentioned him versus Tony Harrison, but Tony Harrison is yeah, that's a fight. You can have him versus. What's the dude named David Benavidez's brother? I forget his name, but Benavidez. You can have him fight Benavidez. I forget his name. The one at 154, not David Benavidez, but the other one. I mean, I don't think that'll be a huge fight. At least in my opinion, I might be wrong, but I don't think that would be a huge fight. Not anything like Terence Crawford. So the other fighters, the guys who wanted Canelo, maybe they're thinking, hey, again, everybody had. Even if you're on your own team, you have different goals and a different vision than the next man, even if you're on the same team. So there's that, and like I said, I'm looking forward to the Terence Crawford fight. He's fighting David Avanesian. I am slightly familiar with David Avanesian as he fought. I watched him fight Josh Kelly, and he beat Josh Kelly. I was thinking Josh Kelly was going to do this dude in. And I was like, what the world's going on? Josh Kelly. Because Josh Kelly, I think he went to the Olympics and won I think he ranked in the Olympics. I think he placed in the Olympics a while ago. I think 2016, 17. And he gave Josh Kelly his first loss. So David Avanesian, and I like watching Terence Crawford fight. Terence Crawford is a hell of a fighter. So there's that, and I don't know what's going to happen with. Oh, Gervonta Tank Davis had said he was going to be leaving fucking PBC or out of his contract. Now, I don't know where he is, where he stands at. I don't know that. He hadn't said anything more about that. But the thing is, as a fan, I would like to watch Tank and Ryan Garcia. You know, I would like to watch it. Like to see who wins that fight. It's just a fan of boxing, and I want to thank Terence Crawford for speaking out, and I definitely am looking forward to Al Heyman coming out and giving his side of the story. I hope his mom gets well. My thoughts are with his mom. I hopefully she has a speedy recovery. And Errol Spence, he's been quiet. Hadn't heard anything from him. So there's no telling what's going in his mind. Is he going to stay or is he going to go? Those are some questions. All of these are questions that will be answered with time. You know, we don't know. We may get the Terence Crawford Spence fight next year. We may not. Hell, being that Showtime is being bought out by Paramount, we don't even know if Showtime will be around next year. You know, we don't know. We don't know. But I do know one thing. I know I want you to hit that subscribe button. And I know I want you to hit that like button. And I want you to have a great day. I really thank you for your time. I don't know what I'm going to do tonight. If I'm going to stay in or if I'm going to go out. I don't know. Been chasing girls. Just had a girl over. When was it? 2 nights ago. Picked her up. I don't know. I might stay in. Went out Halloween. Last few days, I've been going pretty hard. Went out so many times, and went out last week. I partied like I was on fucking vacation. Went out. I go out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and I mean, I think I need to take a little break, honestly. So I might just chill tonight. You know what I'm saying? I might just lay low tonight and just relax because I have a lot to do tomorrow. So I know this might be too much information for you, and you tuned in for boxing, but you know I'm me, so you're getting some of the rest of me, you know. But I really appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. Have a great night. Have a great week. Have a great month. We're almost to the end we're at the end of the year. Nearly at the end of the year. We only have one more month to go, and 2022 will be over. And it's like, whoo, where did time go? Where did time go? It's like, just like yesterday, we were bringing in the new year. And now we're here at the end of the year. Well, hopefully you're enjoying your time. I'm trying to enjoy my time. Talk with you later. I'm out.